Hi everyone, welcome to the session of ECA, Electronic Circuit Analysis. In this class, we will learn about the general form of LC oscillators. So in previous class, we have seen the analysis of Wien-Bridge oscillator. So Wien-Bridge oscillator is one of the RC oscillators. Means we are using some resistors and capacitors to generate the oscillations at the output. Or we are using resistors and capacitors in the circuit. So what is the frequency of oscillation of Wien-Bridge oscillator as well as the beta value, that is feedback network gain, and the A value, that is basic amplifier gain. So how the conditions are satisfied? What are the values of A and beta to satisfy the Born-Persson criteria? So these topics we have covered in previous session. So now we will learn about the general form of the LC oscillator. So how LC oscillators satisfy the condition. So we know for any oscillator, if that oscillator generates some form of oscillations at the output, it should satisfy two conditions. Those conditions are also called as Born-Persson criteria. So first condition is phase shift around the closed loop must be 360 degrees. The second condition is the loop gain, magnitude of the loop gain must be uniform. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then only we can get the oscillations at the output. So here we have general form of LC oscillator. So in general form of LC oscillator, we can use any form of the active device. We can use any form of the active devices in place of the amplifier section. Normally we know oscillator consists of two sections. One is basic amplifier, another one is feedback network. So normally any oscillator consists of two parts. One is basic amplifier, second one is feedback network. So in place of basic amplifier, we can use any type of active device like vacuum tubes, like transistors or FETs or operational amplifiers. We can use any of these types of active devices in the place of basic amplifier. And next, here we are using some reactive elements in the feedback network. So let us take three reactive elements, that is Z1, Z2 and Z3. So Z1, Z2, Z3 are the reactive elements constituting the feedback network or feedback circuit. So depending on these values, depending on these reactive elements, we can get the frequency of oscillation. So what is frequency of oscillation? So at that frequency, we can get the output, okay, or oscillations. So, so here we have the figure of basic LC oscillator, So here Z1 and Z2 serve as the voltage divider for the output and the feedback signal. So next, the voltage across Z1 is the feedback signal, and for this basic oscillator, LC oscillator, the frequency of oscillation, basic formula is 1 by 2 pi root LC. So this is the basic circuit or basic form of LC oscillator. So here this amplifier is the any type. This amplifier consists of any type of active element, and this is the feedback network. The up down portion is the feedback network. So in this feedback network, we have three elements: Z1, Z2, and Z3. Okay. So the frequency of oscillation of this type of oscillator is normally F equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. So here L and C are the inductive and capacitive reactances and are represented by Z1, Z2 and Z3, because here in place of Z1, Z2 and Z3, we can take some resistance, we can take some inductors or capacitors. So the inductor or capacitor reactances are represented by Z1, Z2 and Z3. Okay. So this is the general form of oscillator, and this is the equivalent circuit of LC oscillator. Okay. So let us consider the current I1 flows in this direction and I2 flows in this direction. This is first node, second node, and third node. Third node is grounded. So because of this form of structure or this form of connection, we can get some 360 degrees phase. So from this point to this point, we can get some 90 degrees, and this point to this point, we can get some 90 degrees phase shift, and the remaining 180 degrees phase shift will be provided by the basic amplifier. and the conditions of Bauer-Persson criteria, one of the condition of Bauer-Persson criteria is satisfied. Okay, so we will discuss the conditions in a Hartley and Colpitts oscillator when we take some inductors and capacitors in the circuit. So let us derive the equation. Let us derive the general form of this circuit to satisfy the Bauer-Persson. Okay. So here this is the feedback network and this is the basic amplifier. The amplifier output is given as input to the feedback network, and the feedback network output is given as input to the amplifier. Okay, we know the conditions as well. So this is the equivalent circuit of this circuit. In place of amplifier, let us consider we can have some transistor. So this is the equivalent circuit of a transistor. Okay, normally transistor consists of two elements. If you take simplified model, not exact model. So in simplified model, we have two elements. We know. So those two elements are excuse me. So those two elements are, first one is HIE, next one is HFE. One is resistance and the one is current source. This is the equivalent circuit of this amplifier or the transistor. If you take the transistor in place of amplifier, this is the equivalent circuit, and the remaining portion is same as this one. Okay, so let us derive the circuit. This is the circuit which we have seen previously. So this is the circuit. So first one is load impedance. So here to derive the load impedance or to derive the output impedance. So here we have two impedances, Z1 and HIE. So normally load impedance means output impedance. This is the output part. So this is the output impedance or load impedance. So normally load impedance is the parallel combination of So no, load impedance is the parallel combination of Z2. This is the output node. So we have impedance at this point as Z2, and we have one more impedance, and this is the total impedance we should derive. So this total impedance, that is the impedance at this terminal, is in parallel with this impedance. Okay. So Z2 is in parallel with this total impedance. So the load impedance is ZL. Let us consider it as ZL. So ZL is equal to the parallel combination of Z2 and this total impedance. What is this total impedance? Let us derive the total impedance. Sorry, these two impedances are in parallel. Okay, that is Z1 and HIE. The parallel impedance means we have two impedances like Z1 and Z2. The parallel impedance becomes Z1 and Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. So that is Z1 into HIE by Z1 plus HIE. Z1 into HIE by Z1 plus HIE. That is the parallel combination or the equivalent impedance at this point. And that impedance is in series with this impedance. This total impedance is in series with Z3. So that is, let us consider the total impedance up to this part is Z dash. So Z dash is in series with Z3. So Z dash plus Z3. So Z dash, what is Z dash? Z dash is the parallel combination of these two resistances. That is Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. And this Z dash is in series. This Z dash is in series with Z. So Z dash plus Z3 is the impedance, equivalent impedance up to this point. Okay. Then what is the total impedance or load impedance at this point? That is the parallel combination of Z2 and this impedance, the total impedance. That is Z dash plus Z. So 1 by ZL or ZL is the parallel combination of Z2 and Z dash plus Z3. So we can also write it as 1 by Z2 plus 1 by Z dash plus Z3. 1 by Z2 plus 1 by Z dash plus Z3. So that implies 1 by Z2 plus 1 by, what is Z dash? Z dash is Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE plus Z2. So 1 by Z2 plus if you simplify this term, then we have Z1 plus HIE. If you take the LCM between these two terms, then we have Z1 plus HIE by Z1 HIE plus Z1 Z3 plus HIE into Z. If you take the LCM in at the denominator, and if you simplify this part, and we have the equation like this. So 1 by Z2 plus Z1 plus HIE by, here we have two terms, that is HIE terms. So if you take HIE as common, we have HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3. Okay. So this is one term and this is another term, and make LCM. Then we have HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3 plus Z1 plus HIE into Z. Okay, by at the denominator Z2 into HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3. Just we are taking LCM, and next term we have HIE terms. So here we have one term, and here we have one more term. So that is HIE into Z1 plus we have Z2 here. So Z2 and we have Z3 here. So HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus remaining terms Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z3 by Z2 into HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3. Okay. So this is the load, this is the impedance, that is 1 by ZL. And from this equation, what is ZL? Just inverse this equation. Then we have ZL is equal to Z2 into HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3 by HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z3. This is 1 by ZL and this is ZL. Okay. Next one. This is the load impedance or output impedance for this circuit. Okay. Next, voltage gain without feedback. What is voltage gain without feedback? Without feedback, voltage gain means that is the basic amplifier gain. If you are not applying any feedback, means we have only the basic amplifier. And voltage gain without feedback represents the gain of the basic amplifier. What is the gain of the basic amplifier? We know the formula. Basic amplifier gain AB is represented as minus HFE RL by HI. In previous units, we have already derived the equation. So we know the equation in terms of HFE, in terms of H parameters. Voltage gain formula is AB is equal to minus HFE ZL or RL by HI. Minus HFE ZL by HI. Already we know the value of ZL or load impedance. Just substitute this value in this equation. Then we have the voltage gain AB of the basic amp. Next. So here we have to find one more factor or one more value, that is feedback fraction beta. So what is beta? Beta is the feedback network gain. Beta is the feedback network gain. So here the output voltage between the terminals C and Q in terms of I1 is given by. So normally we know the mathematical expression for beta. So if our feedback network is represented as beta and the input for the feedback network is V0 and the output for the feedback network is Vf, then what is the gain? Vf by V0. We know the gain equation, that is output by input. Output is Vf, input is V0, then beta is equal to Vf by V0. Okay. So V0 is the basic amplifier output, that is again given as input to the feedback network. Okay. Vf is the output of the feedback network. Okay. So if you want to know or if you want to derive the beta value, then we should derive the values of V0 and Vf. So what is V0 from the circuit? So here we have the circuit. Okay. So this is the output point. This is the output point. So from this equation, what is from the circuit? What is the Vf? Sorry, V0 output voltage. So V0 is equal to minus I1 into Z1 plus Z. V0 is equal to minus I1 into Z dash plus Z3. So here this is the point. Okay. So that means V0 becomes the voltage at this point. The current. If you want to derive the voltage, we should know the current and the impedance or resistance. So what is the current at this point? I1. That current flows in opposite direction. So we can take it as minus I1 into what is the impedance at this point? What is the impedance? Impedance is the total parallel combination of Z1 and HIE that is in series with Z3. So the parallel combination is here we are taking it as Z dash. So Z dash and that is in series with Z3. So Z dash plus Z3 is the impedance at this terminal and current is I1. So totally the voltage at this point becomes minus I1 into Z dash plus Z3. Minus I1 into Z dash plus Z3. So that is minus I1 into, what is Z dash? Z dash is Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. Minus I1 into Z dash is the parallel combination of Z1 and HIE plus Z3. That is minus I1 into, and take LCM. Then we have Z1 plus HIE in the denominator. In numerator, Z1 HIE plus Z3 into Z1 plus HIE. That is, if you take HIE as common, HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 by Z1 plus HIE. This is the output. Okay. And what is VF? That is the output of the feedback network. Output of the feedback network. So here, what is the output of feedback network? We know this is the feedback network. And this is the output voltage. And again given as input to this feedback network. And if this is the feedback network, this point represents the feedback voltage. That is the output of the feedback network. Okay. So here the current is I1. Let us consider. Okay, VF equal to minus I1 into Z from the circuit. Because at that point we have the impedance Z dash and the current is I1. So that means VF is equal to minus I1 into Z dash. So that will become minus I1 into, what is Z dash? Z dash is Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. Okay. So this is the feedback voltage. This is the output. And what is beta? So beta is equal to VF by V0. So VF is minus I1 into Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. And what is V0? Minus I1 into HIE Z1 plus Z3 by Z1 Z3 by Z1 plus HIE. So substitute these two values in this equation and simplify that equation, and we have the equation, final equation, beta is equal to Z1 HIE by HIE into Z1 plus Z3 by and Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3. Okay. So this is the feedback network gain beta. And this is the basic amplifier gain A. Okay. And what is Born-Kosum criteria? So for any oscillator, it should satisfy that Born-Kosum criteria. That is mod A beta equal to 1. So to satisfy that equation, we are taking Born-Kosum criteria. That is A beta equal to 1, where A is basic amplifier gain, beta is feedback network. Substitute the values. So that is A becomes we know beta value, that is Z1 HIE by HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3 into what is A? A is minus HFE ZL by HIE, minus HFE ZL by HIE. So is equal to 1 minus HFE by HIE. We know ZL value also. This is ZL. This is ZL. Substitute this value. We have equation as HFE Z2 into HIE Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z3 by HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z3 into Z1 by HIE into Z1 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z is equal to 1. So HIE will cancel, that is these two terms are cancelled, and we have the final equation like this. Okay. So this is the equation we have finally. And next, if you simplify the equation, so depending on the current directions, we have the equation. Just remember that point. So here we have minus, and let us take that sign into this right side. So that is equal to minus 1. And HF is final. If you take the LCM and if you perform the simplified analysis, that means if you take the further steps, then the final equation becomes HFE into Z2 Z1 by HIE into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z3 is equal to minus. If you simplify the equation, then we have the equation, because uh, here this term and this term will be cancelled because these two terms are equal, and finally we have the equation, that is HFT Z2 Z1 by the remaining term, that is LCM, that is denominator term. This is same, is equal to minus. Okay, and final equation becomes HI Z1 plus Z2 plus Z2 plus Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z2 is equal to minus HFE into Z1 into Z2. Okay, and from this equation, HI into Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 plus Z1 Z2 into 1 plus HFE plus Z1 Z3 is equal to 0. Just we are taking this term to this side, and the terms, we have HI term here and HFE term here, that is equal to 0. So this is the general form of the LC oscillator. This is the general form of the LC oscillator. So this equation must be satisfied by any LC oscillator to get some oscillations at the output. Okay. So thank you. So just we are taking the circuit like LC oscillator, and we are drawing the equivalent circuit. From this equivalent circuit, we are taking, that is, what is the load impedance, that is ZL, in order to find out the AV value, that is voltage gain, because AV in terms of ZL. Okay, just substitute that value, then we have AV, and similarly find out beta. Beta depends on VF and V0, so we are finding V0 and VF. Just substitute that values in this equation. We have beta and A. So in order to satisfy the Barkhousens criteria, that should be, the product should be equal to 1. So A beta equal to 1. Just we are substituting A and beta values in this equation. And finally, if you simplify the equation, then we have the general form equation of for any LC oscillator.